I know you're pumped up and eager to get back in the Invicta cage. Have you had any discussions yet with Janet or Shannon about your next fight?
Yes, I have. We haven't actually discussed if I'll be on Invicta 7 or not, but they said that they definitely want me back in the near future. So I'm just waiting to hear back if it's going to be Invicta 7 or, if I have to wait. So.
Well, I know a lot of fans have been, tweeting to you. They've been tweeting Janet. They've been tweeting Shannon. They want to see you on Invicta 7. Hopefully they'll make it happen. But if not, I know you'll be on, the next available card. But you compete in what I consider to be one of the most talent-rich weight classes in the sport, the atomweight division. There's so many interesting opponents that they could match you up with, but I actually really would like to see you and Stephanie Frosto go at it. I just think you're both amazing and would match up really well together. Is that a fight you're interested in?
Oh, that's definitely a fight I'm interested in. I've been offered that fight before, and, things just never worked out, where we, met in the cage or whatever, but I definitely would love to fight her. I think she's got an exciting style, as I do, and I think it's a fight the fans would really enjoy watching.
Definitely. I think it would be a great matchup. I heard a beep going on. Is your phone going off, or what? Or can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, I don't know what the stupid block talk radio thing is kind of annoying sometimes, but now your last fight was at Invicta 6 against the former champion Jessica Penne. Unfortunately, things didn't go your way. She caught you, but she catches everyone, it seems. But obviously, like any athlete, you're always going to have that feeling of disappointment, coming off of a loss. So talk to us about that fight. What was going through your mind when it was all said and done?
I don't know. I felt like I was winning the fight until I got to the ground. She's a brown belt. I'm a blue belt. You know what I'm saying? She's definitely the former champion for a reason. Honestly, I would like a rematch. Obviously, I believe that you have to earn your rematches, so obviously I would have to earn my rematch with her. But that's probably one of the fights that I would want a rematch the most. I had a really tough training camp. I'm not making excuses for myself or anything, but I definitely think that if I hadn't taken a year off and broke my nose during the training camp, the fight would have been a lot more, it would have lasted a lot longer, So I'm not completely happy with my performance, no, but I did come away learning a lot of things from that fight, and I gained a lot of confidence. From that fight, despite losing. I know it sounds crazy, but yeah.
I mean, it's not crazy at all. I mean, like you said, I thought you were winning too up until the end, and she's ranked number 2 in that division. So that's, there's nothing crazy about that. But when you got back to the gym after that fight, how much did it motivate you to train even harder? Was it something that was visible, like your coaches and teammates noticed, like, damn, she's pissed, she wants to whip somebody's ass right now?
Definitely. Definitely all my training partners have taken a notice. I started doing some things that I used to do in the past, implementing them again, in my training, and so they definitely could tell a difference in me.
Now, I know you're also very good friends with Miesha Tate, and she's often working your corner. She's got a massive fight coming up, the rematch with Ronda Rousey for the UFC title. But first, we're going to see them coach opposite each other for Tough 18, first ever co-ed season. Are you excited to see it go down?
Yes, I am. I'm actually gonna be there that night. I promised Misha, you're my best friend. I missed the first time that you and Ronda fought for the belt, and I told her that I'm not gonna miss it for the world. I know how much it means to her, and I know how hard she's working to beat Ronda. So I'm gonna be there that night, and I'm excited for her, and I know that she really wants it, and I know she's doing everything she can so that she can beat Ronda. So.
And how do you see her doing in the rematch? Their first fight was great. I thought Misha gave her, her toughest fight before Liz Carmouche. Obviously, anytime you get a second chance to fight somebody, you're always a little bit more prepared for her. How do you see her doing this time?
I honestly think that, you know, Misha is going to surprise a lot of people, and I honestly think that she's going to beat Ronda, and I think she's going to take her into the deeper rounds and really test Ronda. So.
Now, you know, what do you think we're going to see with the males and females sharing the tough house? Do you think the drama will get a little too much, like the real world, or do you think above all else, you know, the talent of the athletes and their drive will shine through?
I think there'll be drama. I mean, I don't know Ronda, or I've never met Ronda, but from what I've seen of her, she seems like she's just kind of out there, you know. As far as like drama goes, like it seems like she attracts a lot of drama, and I think it'll be drama filled, especially because her and Misha obviously don't like each other, and but I think you know, this being the first season that there's male and females, and particularly having females on there that I've really wanted to always fight in the UFC, I think their talent and their attitudes and their personalities, and I think it's going to really shine through. I think it's probably going to shine more than, I think the women are going to shine more than the guys now. That's my opinion.
That's my opinion.
You know, because it's something the fans never seen before.
Exactly. And I know they haven't announced the cast yet, but somebody told me the cast. I can't say anything, but there's a lot of really talented girls that are going to be on it, and you know, I think they're going to really outshine the guys big time, and you know, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it go down. But let's talk about your weight class, the atomweight division. Like I said, extremely stacked. You know, often overlooked sometimes because 135 is always the focus with a lot of the casual fans, but well, you know, 105 is amazing. You got a fighter in Michelle Waterson as the champion. I got a lot of respect for her. What do you think about Michelle?
Oh my God, I love Michelle. Oh man, what I say about Michelle is she's a beautiful person on the inside, and it shines through on the outside. She's just a great person, you know. I'm really, when I saw her win the belt for Michelle, for me it was very fulfilling and motivating, and to see her, you know, do that, accomplish that for herself and her family and her fans. So I just can't say enough good things about her. I think she's extremely talented. So
yeah, she
I know that sounds weird. It sounds weird because we're in the same weight class. I know one day we're going to punch each other in the face, but, you know, she's a person that I really have a lot of respect for.
And I'm, you know, same here, and I don't think that's weird at all. I think, you know, that's definitely something that a lot of other fighters in your weight class have a lot of respect for, but they also want to, you know, beat on there and take that belt away. So, you know, hopefully we'll see that happen someday, because I think that'd be a great matchup, you and Michelle. You know, now as a professional, you got a record of 8-7, but you're a lot better than your record, you know, shows. I mean, anybody who's seen you fight knows that. They know you're one of the toughest girls in that division, and you got the ability to really beat any of them on any given night. But does it kind of, you know, bother you to a certain extent when some people who don't really know you, you know, they've never seen you fight before, and they see your record, they pull you up on Sherdog and go, you know, 8-7, she's not that good?
Well, you know, when I first started fighting, there wasn't very many girls or opportunities to fight. So when I first started fighting, I fought at 125, and then, you know, when the 115 weight class opened up more, then I went down to 115, and then, you know, once the 105 division started opening up more with more competitive fights, then I went down to 105, and I think that had a lot to do with it. And I call myself a fighter's fighter. Like, I don't try to, like, pad my record, or, you know, I just fight whatever the best opportunity for me is at the time. So, which may not always be the smartest thing, but it's a fight, so whatever.
I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand, and that's the same with a lot of you know, women's MMA fighters that have been doing it for a while. Is, you know, there weren't a lot of opportunities back in the day, so they would take what was out there. You know, fighting at heavier weight classes, fighting girls who were ranked, you know, much higher than them. But you got to do what you got to do, and I think that's why, so many people respect and adore, girls going out there, because a lot of guys will be like, oh, I don't want to fight that guy, I'm not ready for him, whereas you'd be like, shit, I'll fight that girl. I don't care who it is. You'll step in there with Ronda Rousey. Do you see that a lot with a lot of your peers?
That more women are more apt to fight whoever?
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like they're not really so afraid of, because a lot of guys sometimes they're kind of afraid of taking those big fights. They feel like, oh, I don't want to
yeah,
lose.
I think women are a little bit more I think women are more risk takers when it comes to like their fight careers and stuff like that, I think so.
Absolutely. Now, you got one of the, I think one of the coolest nicknames, the Night Queen. How did you come up with that, or who gave it to you?
Actually, my first opponent that I ever fought, she was from India, and she told me, she's like, your name's from India, isn't it? I go, yes. My parents, they were hippies in the, 70s, 80s, and, they wanted to give me, I'm Hispanic, I'm Mexican, I was born in Mexico, but my parents, they're very different from most Mexican people that I've ever met in my life, and they were hippies, and so they were really into, this Indian culture and book, and it's actually from a Bhagavad Gita, it's a Hindu book, and they gave me this name. It's a Spanish translation of the name, but anyway, Nicdali, which is the correct way you would say it in their language, I think, she told me that it meant the Night Queen. I was like, what? And, me being, gothic and, into, vampires and, dark gothic whatever stuff, I was like, what? I was like, my parents are freaking awesome. So then, that same week, I ended up knocking out one of the guys in practice. And keep in mind, this is not a big dude. He weighed 135 pounds. He was 5'5", not a big dude. And I knocked him out in practice, and all the guys were like, "Oh my God, you are the Night Queen!" And he was actually joking about it too. He was not sore about it. So that's kind of how I got it, and it stuck. So that's
awesome.
how it happened.
That's probably one of the coolest stories I've heard as far as somebody get a nickname. Usually I'll ask people, how'd you get that nickname? Their nickname's the Pitbull or something. They're like, oh, I'm a really aggressive fighter. So my coach just called me the Pitbull. That right there, that's a story. So kudos for that one. But how did you get started on this journey with mixed martial arts? What led you on the path to becoming a fighter?
Well, I've always kind of been a fighter my whole life. Growing up and stuff, I was the only child of my mom, but I had a lot of cousins, and a lot of my boy cousins would just always try to pick fights with me, and I don't know, I just would get sick of it, and I'd fight back, and usually I'd always win. But just like that, and then my stepdad growing up, him and I would watch boxing together, and just having Oscar De La Hoya as a role model, it was just amazing to me. I just looked up to him, and his story just motivated me and inspired me, and I was like, I remember telling my parents when I was 11, 12 years old, I was like, man, I'm going to be like Oscar De La Hoya, I'm going to be the best fighter in the world, and they just laughed at me, and my mom hated it. She was like, no way are you ever going to be a fighter, that's not ladylike. My mom is very, conservative now,
Right.
And, she was like, no way, I'm not going to let you do that. I'm not going to support that, But, yeah, so that's basically what inspired me to be a fighter and what led me to this lifestyle. So, that's what I initially wanted.
And
go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say, once you got started, had a couple professional fights, did your mom start to kind of warm up to the idea more and start being like, wow, this is pretty cool?
She didn't warm up to it until I fought in Japan, After I fought in Japan, she was just like, man, she's like, you have some cojones, She's like, because when I fought in Japan, I fought Miku Masamoto, and I was 5-2, and Miku Masamoto was 20 3 and 4 at the time or something like that. And my mom's like, man, you have some cojones taking on someone like that, you know. She's like, you're ballsy. She's like, and then after that, like, she just came around. She saw how much I loved it and how much dedication I had towards the sport, and now she's full-on supporter. And the last time she went to the Invicta fight, she was so impressed. She was like, wow, this is awesome. I'm so, like, happy and proud of you.
That's amazing. You know, I love hearing stuff like that. And, you know, you fought a lot of tough girls. You know, who would you say, though, you know, was your favorite fight, you know, thus far?
Oh, I don't know. I have a lot of favorite fights for different reasons. It's so hard to pick just one, but it really is. I really enjoyed fighting Angela Magana, even though I really don't like her as a person. I really enjoyed fighting Sean Tamarabuchi. I really enjoyed fighting Angelica Chavez. That was a very fun fight for me. Really, they're all fun. I can't really, like, pick one that I would say, oh, this is my favorite fight ever, you know. I think they're all fun, so.
Well, I definitely
I can tell you my least favorite fight.
Which one was that?
When I fought Felice Herring, that was probably my least favorite fight. I just had so much shit going on in my life. It was just, and then on top of that, all the drama that her and I had, yeah, it sucked really bad.
Yeah, I mean, she typically has a lot of drama with her opponents, it seems. But,
I think, yeah, but that's Felice, you know.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, whatever works, I guess. But you know, so how did you get you know? How did you meet Miesha Tate? 'Cause I know she's been a big part of your career for a while now. I mean, how did that friendship come about?
God, I love that girl. You know, I've never had a friend like her before. She's been there for me through some really tough times. But we actually met when we both fought in the Bodog tournament. I think that was in what would you say? 08? 07? 08?
Yeah, actually had. Hold on. I think it was 08. Yeah. Probably.
So that's when we met, and we weren't really good friends until we were both supposed to fight for Fatal Femmes, I think, like, maybe 6 months after that, and both of our fights got canceled, and then, like, just because of that, you know, we exchanged numbers, and at the time, you know, I was working for Cage Steel, and, like, I really wanted to sponsor her because, you know, I saw, like, a bright future in her, and I just really liked her as a person. So then the company started sponsoring her, and I needed to have some training partners to come out, and so she flew out to train with me, and after that, like, we hit it off so well. Like, we just get along really well. And so ever since then, we've been really good friends. I would say she's probably, like, one of my bestest friends.
Yeah, she's a really cool girl. I've interviewed her before. Really, really nice person. Who are some other, you know, close friends and training partners that have been really influential to you, you know, in your career so far?
Shayna Baszler. I've actually gotten a chance to go up and train with her in South Dakota, and, you know, she's a really awesome person. She's very unique. I've never met anyone like her. She's into guns and zombies and comic books like I am, so we have that in common. And I love training with her. She showed me some really cool moves from how to do a twister, and she can do it from any position, which I think is amazing because I don't even know guys that can do that. And she's been a big part of it. Also, Laura Sanko, or Marcus, Laura.
Oh, yeah,
Marcus
yeah.
Sanko.
Awesome.
She actually is the one who inspired me to go down to 105 because before that, I didn't want to because I thought that all 105ers were, like, skinny and, like, frail looking, you know. But when I met her and saw her and trained with her, and she was strong and flexible, and like she had abs and she was muscular and feminine, I was like, man, I think I could go down to 105, you know? And so she was a big part of it, even though, like, you know, she's just starting off in her career and stuff. And I love training with her. She's one of my favorite people to train with, which right now she can because she's with child, but, you know, she looks awesome. Have you seen her?
I haven't seen her, you know, recently, but I was really impressed with her against Cassie Robb. You know, because Robb is super tough. She impressed the hell out of me. And I know, you know, she was actually scheduled to fight in the last card, but, you know, because of her pregnancy, she had to pull out. But that's somebody that I think has got a really bright future ahead of her. She is super talented. But you know, you mentioned that you're big into you mentioned that you're big into zombies and stuff like that. So I got to ask you, you know, are you ready for the zombie apocalypse? Like, are you prepared? Like, do you have like a zombie, you know, freaking battle shed somewhere and you're ready to go?
For sure. But I don't think I have a battle shed. I think we have a plan, you know. I think with zombies, you can't stay in one spot because then they'll, like, all congregate and, like, you don't want to get too many of them at once because then, you know, that's how they beat you is they overwhelm you by numbers. So you kind of have to, like, keep on the road and have, like, a battle, like, truck, you know, and have, like, tons of guns and ammo, you know. So
there you go. You got to blow those sumbitches up, you know. My plan is actually to trick them into running into a porta potty. Then I'm going to lock the porta potty and light the freaking thing on fire and blow them all to hell. So that's my strategy. But you know, maybe we'll team up. You know, we'll save the world.
Hell yeah! But the only problem is I'm not really good with shooting a gun.
You cut out there for a second. What'd you say?
I said I'm not very good at shooting guns, so.
It's all good, you know. We'll just use our hands. You know, we'll knock the freaking.
Oh, okay.
Just out.
I'm really good with a machete, though.
That works. Whatever works. See, teamwork 101. We got this.
For sure.
Well, I know you're a busy girl, so I won't take up too much more of your time. Just final thing I want to ask you. You know, when it's all said and done, you know, and your career has come to an end, you know, how do you want people to remember you looking back?
I want them to say that I was one of the most athletic and one of the most toughest fighters that they ever, you know, saw or watched or, you know, knew or whatever, you know. That's what I want.
Well, hey, I already
that would be well, yeah. And I want them to say that I'm like one of the best, the greatest that ever, you know. You know what? I hope that Invicta has like you know how like the UFC has like the Hall of the Hall of Fame or whatever.
Right.
I hope Invicta has that too. I would love, like, if they do create that later on, I would love to be a part of that.
I think that'd be really cool, and I think that's something that, you know, I'd love to see happen, and you would definitely be somebody I would, you know, vote for when the time comes. But, you know, I appreciate the time today, Nicdali, and, you know, we've been, you know, friends on Twitter for a while, so it's good to finally talk to you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you get back in the Invicta cage soon and kick some ass. Is there anything else you want to say before I let you go?
Yes. Please check me out on Twitter, and if you want to see me fight on Invicta 7, please let at Shannon. I don't know the actual like name that she has on there right now. I think it's at SHAN. Yeah, Shan Knapp.
Yeah.
And at Invicta Fights. Let them know that you want to see me get back in the cage. You know, and fight and actually make someone's nose bloody or, you know, I don't know, chop off some heads. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa, wait a minute. Now that would be kind of interesting. We'll definitely spread the word, and we'll get the people to spread the word too. But Nicdali, I appreciate the time, and I hope you have a great day.
All right. Thank you. You too.